Okay. My warmest greetings to our regional president, Reverend Jean-Pierre Kadima, to our regional vice president, Mrs. Mika Malaman, and to our regional BFD director, Reverend Richard Begre. Also, my distinguished greetings to the sub-regional directors, to national leaders and national BFDs, without forgetting our parents and our brothers and sisters who are here for the PMC orientation. I am Seong Wantete, and I am the youth coordinator in the regional Blessed Family departments. If I were to summarize the work I do, I would simply say that my goal is to support the regional department and to ensure that my brothers or many more second generation receive the blessing and succeed in stabilizing their spiritual lives, and in the best case, that the second generations follow the tradition of our true parents and live in an absolutely stable life. I am here to inspire and motivate my brothers and sisters through the content of my sharing. I'm now going to share my screen. Okay. Yes, so before I start, I really want actually to sincerely apologize for having made this recording due to so many unexpected situations that I am in at the moment that could stop me from delivering this message. I made this video to convey properly the message to you as the perfect backup. Yeah, that's a backup. But my wish was to be here and to be doing this presentation in live. Okay, so the mission I was given was to analyze, understand, dissect, and try to provide answers to the fact that sometimes our brothers and sisters aren't immediately interested in the blessing when it's time to be part of it. Hence the title of my sharing, what could be the reasons of our brothers and sisters are not interested in receiving the blessing. Yeah, we'll look at various possibilities together, but first I would like us to read from True Parents' words. So, our reading is from The Way of a True Child, section 4, the blessing of second generation and the attitude to receive the blessing, from Reverend Sam Young Moon, our true father. True Parents' words. Why do we bless the second generation? If their families are under persecution from the world, we should not bless them. But from the providential view, unification families have been through the age of persecution, haven't we? Who made it possible? Your fathers and mothers? Who made it possible? Father. Which father? True parents. Who is above true parents? Heavenly parent. Restoration is complete when you attend 3 generations of parents. This means, centered on the vertical parents, who are God and true parents, you should connect to your own parents as the horizontal parents by attending them. There are to be 3 generations of parents. Jew. Dear brothers and sisters, what we learn from this reading could not be clearer. Why should we, the second generation, participate in the blessing? I will try to simplify the answer for everyone. We are part of our Heavenly Parents' plan for restoration, isn't it? And to restore this extremely difficult and complicated world in all its dimensions, we must necessarily acquire the elements that our Heavenly Parent and true parents have placed at our disposal to make us stronger and less vulnerable to all kinds of temptation. And I'm not going to look too far for the answer. The answer actually is right here. We have our Heavenly Parent. Who among us here connected to this meeting isn't proud to shout out his name strongly? Who doesn't feel protected by his name? We all love Heavenly Parent and know that our Heavenly Parent is always there for us everywhere we go. We have also our true parents Who wouldn't be ready to make sacrifices for our true mother if she asked for it personally? If she were in one of our nations, we would be ready to run out and buy her the biggest and most expensive gift. And we have our parents, our own parents who gave us life and whom we love from the bottom of our hearts. This is the army God has put at our disposal to protect us from unwanted evil. It's important to understand this. But that's not all. As second generation, we need to be able to connect to our parents who are in a horizontal position so that the protection that exists can really take effect. The only way to do this is to receive the blessing. I wanted to comment a little on these words so that we can understand the blessing, well, what the blessing implies and its importance. Based on this note, let's get back to our today's title. What could be the reasons our brothers and sisters are not interested in receiving the blessing? Yes, so as I was receiving the mission and from my direct leader, Reverend Bergray, I was very confused. I was like, wow, that's a huge task. How can I imagine or be in someone's head and imagine why boys? Because I was not really in some cases like this one. For me, I went straight to the blessing after I've been trained for it, prepared, for it. But I had to do a survey from some selected brothers and sisters, and they answered me, mostly the brothers. And I could get 8 points that I want to share here with you. And the first point was need to make money first. So is money a need for receiving the blessing? For some brothers and sisters, they really need money is first. We need to have money before receiving the blessing. The second point is need to finish the studies. So, of course, I'm wondering, do we really need to finish school before receiving the blessing? But for some brothers and sisters, studies are the priority. Take your time. The age of brothers does not matter. That's what we hear from here and there, from our parents, some brothers and sisters, that boys can be a little bit older, it's okay, but not for the sisters. And we'll see that anyway in the presentation. Beauty of the flesh. One's partner should be beautiful, otherwise no blessing. We know that we have some brothers and sisters that if the spouse is not really beautiful, they don't take it. They don't go to the blessing. So we'll see if this matters also. Not ready to commit, because commitment means responsibility. We are also going to comment on this one. Too early to have children. Blessing means starting having children. Many of our brothers and sisters think that receiving the blessing means building a family, starting a family now. Freedom first. Some of our brothers and sisters, they also say that actually they want to be free first, that the blessing is for adults. And if you ask them, because we know that also our brothers and sisters from 18, you're definitely not an adult. But they said that now the blessing is for old adults, not like for them. We'll see that too in the presentation. And the last point is dating. Having girlfriends or boyfriends here and there. I'm not saying that we are really doing it, but this is a point that we have to talk about, at least just a little. So now let's come back to the first one, which is need to make money first. So all what I'm going to share here, it's going to be only according to my own experience. This is what has been asked, and this is what I'm going to do. It doesn't necessarily be the same experience for everyone, and it's very different anyway. So I don't need to make money. What was my own experience? Money never stopped me for going to the blessing, but of course, I needed to pay the fees. I needed to pay my ticket for Korea. I needed to pay my shoes and this and that. But I need money, of course, to do it. But now how? How to do it? So for me, the solution was very simple. Fundraising. Fundraising could be the solution. So in order for me to be ready, I had to take ownership of my blessing. For some other solution, parents can be helping, because the blessing is not only us going to the blessing alone. No, our parents are supporting in the blessing. True parents are behind us, and Heavenly Parent is there. So we could have some collect donation from anybody to help us, and we have money to go to the blessing, right? And then receive the blessing. It doesn't mean that after receiving the blessing we have to stop. We can continue working, finding some job or whatever. We have so many opportunities in life that we can be doing. This is my fundraising team. So I'm sorry that I don't really have more recent pictures, but this is what I can show you, that I was doing fundraising for many situations, not only for the blessing, and it succeeded. And I'm really proud of myself in doing that. And the next point is what? Need to finish the studies. Do we need to finish school first before receiving the blessing? So we have studies, we have blessing. Blessing, studies, two words of total different meanings. So it's even, we don't really understand how it means. Sometimes maybe it's connected to starting family life. But if we have to reflect deeply, we can understand that receiving the blessing never stopped anyone from going to school. But school cannot be also an obstacle for going to the blessing. This is me when I was still at school, right? And it never stopped me. I continued. And at some point, I offered my studies for some other reason that has nothing to do with the blessing. I received the blessing today. I'm still studying online. I have so many opportunities. I have kids, and I'm studying online. I'm even gonna share more about this point. Children in some minutes. So the next point is what? Taking your time. The age of brothers does not matter. That's what we hear from parents or sisters or whoever. And we are going to talk about this a little. But of which time are we talking about? Is it time of resting? Is it time of playing soccer, or having an outing with family? What time are we talking about? Taking the time to receive the blessing? The blessing is only one time, the cosmic blessing is only one time in a year. So if you miss that, you have to wait again 1 year. Why that? We have to be really careful. Because of what? Because of this. This is something which is the reality of everyone. Everywhere we go, this box is following us. The only difference is this box is far, but every year that we celebrate our birthday, this box is getting closer. This is the reality. So we have to be careful. So imagine that one of our parents enter the spirit world without us receiving the blessing. This is going to be really painful. We have to be really careful and to receive the blessing, just because, as we read Hundoke, Heavenly Parent, true parents, and our parents want us to receive the blessing and to be part of the 3 generations of parents. It's very important. And even if it's not our parents entering the spirit world, it could be us. So that's why we cannot just waste time. We have to prepare and to go for receiving the blessing. Okay, next point. Beauty of the flesh. This one is a really funny one. The title says, one's partner should be beautiful, otherwise no blessing. We have some brothers and sisters, sometimes if maybe they even attend the matching, and one day I match, they reject the matching because of some situations of beauty of the flesh. But in my case, I do remember when I was preparing for blessing, I was afraid. At first, I was not really prepared internally. So I was afraid. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to receive a monkey. And I was like, oh, I have to overcome this situation of thinking of a monkey. And then I succeeded. The point is, I was not really entrusting my life to a Heavenly Parent and true parents. But at some point, of course, with conditions and prayers and readings, I succeeded, and I was ready to receive anybody who come into my life. Okay? And guess what happened? First of all, it does not, the beauty does not really matter. But guess what happened in my situation, in my case? It happens that I was the one being the monkey to the other one, to the spouse. To my spouse, I was the monkey. So look at this. This is my true self. I lost my teeth when I was 9 years old in the past, of course. And yeah, since then I've been having a fake tooth in the front that is not really detectable of everyone. But my wife, she is very special. This is how she wants to see me, like this. Can you imagine that? She loves me as the ugliest monkey that I am. And she's happy and proud of it. And she removed my insecurity. So that's why today I'm sharing that with you. You are my family. I want you to understand that this is a true story, right? So let's continue. The next point is what? Not ready to commit, because commitment means responsibility. What we have to understand here, in my case, commitment was something I didn't really hesitate to do because I wanted to grow. I really wanted to be a good missionary, a good child for my parents and for the leaders, to understand that I can take responsibility, I can be mature on many situations, right? So my experience is the fact of being in a mission and working for the providence helped me to grow and to accept internally true parents and the blessing without having many issues, right? So that's the point. We grow faster. And what kind of experience did I have? I've been sent in Benin, where I experienced CARP and receiving some teachings. I grew up there when I met my brothers and sisters. Today, some of them are youth leaders, very strong in Africa. And the other pictures, it was very recent when I attended the Hyojong program in Zambia. Those people, those brothers and sisters, they are my family that I love so much. But I have learned and I grew up. And this really strengthened not only myself, my spirit, but my family, because everything that I learned, I put it into practice. And this makes me a better person. And I believe that strongly. So the next point, too early to have children. Blessing means starting having children. So I'm not going to waste too much time on this point. We know perfectly that receiving the blessing doesn't mean starting family life right away or having children right away. No. First of all, it's a first step. We have to receive the blessing to protect ourselves, to protect our family, right? And then the spouses, they can discuss, they can plan, not in 10 years, of course, or 5 years, but they can plan a bit later and start family later. If they want to study, there's no problem. If they want to make money, there's no problem. But at least the very first step is to receive the blessing. Receiving the blessing does not mean starting family life right away. You can be planning. In my case, it was different. I was ready and my spouse was ready. So when we started, before we started for family, we planned to have children, right? And we created them. And we are really proud. My first boy, Shinguk, we were looking for him and we found him. And then my daughter, Airi, she came because we wanted her. We planned for it, right? So that's the situation. Everything is a matter of planning after receiving the blessing. So next, the freedom first. Blessing is for adults and old adults, but actually, which freedom are we talking about anyway? Enjoying life, having fun. So some of our brothers and sisters think that the blessing is like an obstacle, or we are going to be stuck, we cannot be having fun, enjoying life. But actually, blessing multiplies this by 10,000, by I don't even know which number I can put there. We should not even put numbers, just because the blessing is really above all this. That's where our true happiness can be found, right? So what in my case, what I was doing before the blessing. I was just a gamer, playing video games, enjoying my computers and stuff. And that's all. But I didn't really realize, I didn't receive a deep education about what is enjoying life and how to do it, right? But we have to be really careful because now that we know, we have to prepare ourselves to receive the blessing. It's very important. If we keep being stubborn, enjoying life, having fun before the blessing, this can lead to something dangerous, something that we want to avoid at the earliest possible. What? This is always following us. I think I already commented about it, but we have to be careful because freedom, there is no freedom before blessing. We need to receive the blessing first, and then we need to enjoy life. Okay? We have to think of our parents. Our parents want us to be blessed. They will be the happiest, right? And us also, we have to be ready. Otherwise, this box is following us, but we never know when we are going to enter there. The mission of this box is to put us inside, and believe me, today or tomorrow, it will succeed. Whatever happens, blessing or not. So we should be ready. And the last point, dating, having girlfriends or boyfriends here and there. Dear brothers and sisters, I don't really have comments on this one. No, I have pictures. But what I can say about it is what? This is not the ideal and not principle. And what is not principle is not healthy. This is what we have to understand about this point. We know it. We have learned this point since we were 1 year old. And all our life, our parents have been teaching us about this point. That's why I cannot comment, because we know it perfectly, right? Okay. So in conclusion, all those points that I have been working on, because that's what I got from the survey. I tried to relate it to my own life, and I realized that actually I could overcome one by one of those. But doesn't mean it's not, or we don't need them. We need them, but we need to set priorities, okay? But what we have to understand, none of these are absolutely necessary in order to receive the blessing. The blessing, we cannot allow those points to stop us from going to the blessing. And then when we receive the blessing doesn't also stop us from continuing to make money or to finish our studies, or to we can plan, we can be free, we can make many things, right? So this is really points that we have to understand and try to put into practice. But we truly have to commit ourselves to prepare internally, externally, right? And to receive the blessing, to make our parents happy, to make everyone happy, and to prepare for the next step. Heavenly Parent will be there because this is his ideal, this is what he wants, and this is what we are going to accomplish absolutely, right? So this is practically the end of my presentation. I want to believe that my brothers and sisters are satisfied. But anyway, if you have any questions, don't hesitate. I'm also grateful for Heavenly Parent and true parents, to our vice president, to regional president and vice president, and to our regional director, BFD, Reverend Bagre, to allow me to be doing this presentation for you. And I hope it would be helpful. So thank you. This marks the end of my presentation.